I always knew that it would be embraced, the movie would be embraced. I didn't know that it would be embraced by such a wide group of people.
Right.
A lot of help from a lot of real icons, folks who aren't always putting their iconic energies in front of a camera.
It examines a nuanced, complex relationship which has resonated with people for over 2 decades on stage.
Ryan Reynolds is at Harvard, giving a speech designed to encourage, but what's happening is leaving fans questioning everything. Hollywood's most iconic roles are owned by none other than Ryan Reynolds, who is now in Harvard University. He had a history of humor, charisma, and entrepreneurial success, and was invited to speak to one of the world's brightest minds. However, his appearance was quickly attacked and became the center of controversy. Many cheered Reynolds' humor and passion, but there is a widening gulf between those who regard him as a role model and those who ask why a celebrity, especially one with no academic credentials, should be afforded so much of a platform. Does he really deserve this honor with his extensive career in film, business, and philanthropy? Is it another instance in which celebrities are being handed opportunities they didn't deserve? In the video, we'll break down Ryan Reynolds' Harvard moment, the backlash that ensued, and the broader conversation it's now sparking about the role of celebrities in academia. What does this controversy do to his image? Let's dive in. Ryan Reynolds' appearance at Harvard University was supposed to be a celebration of his impressive career in the comedy, hard work, and business-savvy effort it's taken to get there. But why was this moment such a talking point? Reynolds was invited to speak at Harvard's prestigious Harvard Institute of Politics to talk about his journey, what he's learned, and how he's been able to balance his career and personal life. As part of the school's IOP's Evening with Muntu series, this invitation has included previous guests such as political leaders and activists. Harvard's moment to bring in a celebrity with influence, hoping his life story could inspire a new generation of students. Reynolds was both funny and relatable in his speech. He talked about his business ventures, his philanthropy, and how his career was not a straight line, something most of the students could relate to. He also discussed some of his work in Hollywood and how he's grown as a person away from the spotlight and how one can use their platform for good. He told us some of his most memorable moments, from witty remarks about his infamous Deadpool character to how humor has served him so well at keeping the pressures of fame at bay. But beyond the laughs, Reynolds' message was clear: failure, learning from mistakes, and the leadership power of empathy. Reynolds seemed to bring exactly what Harvard students needed: authenticity. However, while some embraced this unusual opportunity, others wondered whether the platform was deserved at all, and perhaps another means for academia to adapt to celebrity culture. To some, it was quite worrying trend of getting success in the entertainment industry, making it to an academic stage. Ryan Reynolds' Harvard appearance, with many positive receptions, quickly triggered a wave of criticism. The backlash primarily stemmed from the question, so why was a Hollywood celebrity with no formal academic background given such a prestigious platform? And to some, it was a slap in the face to academics and scholars who had spent their lives working towards recognition and who saw the idea of a global megastar being invited to speak at such a revered institution as Harvard. But these critics said there are countless intellectuals, activists, and experts in fields ranging from academia to mining who could have provided more insightful, more valuable perspectives. Instead, Reynolds was allowed to share his life lessons, his primary claim to fame being his acting career. The criticism wasn't just academic, but many scoffed at the notion that a man whose professional journey includes acting, business ventures, endorsements, could speak about things like leadership, success, and failure. His achievements in the entertainment and business worlds were impressive, but critics said they didn't make him an authority on what was happening on more complex societal issues. People were asking on social media and on public forums, had celebrity culture even gotten into the hallowed halls of higher education? Others have decried what they see as a celebrity-first agenda, where fame is its own reward, and people who don't employ their star power as selling points for contracts overshadow those who spent their lives at the height of their intellectual and social contribution. This backlash raised a critical question. But has academia gotten too much enamored with celebrity culture, raising fame above knowledge and expertise? To some, it was quite worrying trend of getting success in the entertainment industry, making it to an odd. Ryan Reynolds has thus far been largely unfazed by the controversy surrounding his appearance at Harvard. While some celebrities have retreated in the face of public backlash, Reynolds took a more measured and more wry approach. He chose to answer the criticism rather than directly address the criticism in an overly serious mysterious manner by using his platforms, social media, and interviews to deflect and give some insight as to his perspective. He posted a photo of himself from his time at Harvard, along with a cheeky comment that showed he was aware of the critiques, but not too bothered. Reynolds had a light tone of voice, with his British accent almost self-deprecating and fitting the brand that he isn't too serious about himself. His message was clear. He was honored to be invited, but the experience was something he valued deeply, and he wasn't going to pretend he was a scholar in the traditional sense. Reynolds said the same thing in interviews, talking about how his way to success wasn't so conventional, and that he wanted to spread his message for those who may not take the traditional path to success. His speech included the notion of the importance of vulnerability and the value of failure, two ideas he spoke about in his time on stage. So Reynolds' response to the backlash was a bit more of a gentle acknowledgement than a full-on defense. His attitude seemed to be that everyone has a point to add, and even if someone doesn't have an academic title, that shouldn't be a reason to not inspire other people. His reaction didn't stop the critics, but it did reinforce that Reynolds values authenticity and is refusing to fall into the expected trap. Ryan Reynolds' Harvard appearance brings to light a broader conversation that has been simmering for years: the growing intersection between celebrity culture and academia. It's not just one speech. These are larger trends where people are being used as intellectual figures and being given spaces in which to speak that we're not happy with because we think, and I think, that academic institutions should be spaces for scholarly expertise and not celebrity. The debate isn't new. For years, we've watched more and more actors, musicians, athletes invited to speak at prestigious universities, serve on boards, or even teach classes. We've seen it in Oprah Winfrey at Harvard, Elon Musk at various conferences. The line between entertainment and education continues to blur. It's undeniable that these figures bring real-world experience and perspective that's unique. For Reynolds, his blend of entrepreneurship, philanthropy, and Hollywood success had much to teach. And in particular, it could ring true with many students with business, media, and leadership interests. However, the question persists. If these figures are to be given such prominent platforms, given that there are so many scholars and thought leaders with more direct expertise on the subjects at hand, the trend, however, is criticized for continuing a kind of celebrity worship, whereby fame itself becomes an end in itself over substance, rather than academic rigor and intellectual merit. Advocates of celebrity involvement with academia claim, however, that celebrities, including Reynolds, are uniquely positioned to link students to those in academia in ways that are impossible for traditional scholars. These stories about overcoming adversity, failing, and succeeding are life lessons. But as the debate continues, one thing is clear. One example of Reynolds' Harvard moment is a microcosm of a developing trend of how celebrities are influencing intellectual discourse. Many students remember Ryan Reynolds' appearance at Harvard and think of it as a chance to hear from a successful entrepreneur and Hollywood star who has worked his way up from the ground. Reynolds' talk was an inspiring story for these students about the value of hard work, taking risks, and what you can learn from failure. They resonated to hearing from someone who had succeeded outside of academia because they knew that in a world where success isn't always guaranteed through the traditional academic path, young students looking to chart their own future were particularly struck by his advice to put in the effort to embrace mistakes and see them as stepping stones on the path to success in life. But his appearance did not please every student equally. For some, the wider influence this kind of celebrity-led events had concerned them. Having a Hollywood star speak at a place as prestigious as Harvard was a signal to them that the university, and maybe the whole of academia, was turning its attention away from real intellectual engagement and toward entertainment value. They stated that when celebrities are brought in to speak, you lose the importance of academic achievement, which could also be seen as embarrassing the true scholarly discourse. Looking ahead, this moment asks big questions about where guest speakers fit in academic spaces. Will celebrity appearances trend upward, or will universities shift to prioritizing the expert, scholar, thought leader in the traditional sense? And it also has the potential to be lasting in terms of its impact on future speakers, depending on whether or not they can bring some sense of authenticity and some real insight to the table, or whether they're just capitalizing on their fame to get attention. Ryan Reynolds has done so much more than play a public figure in movies such as Deadpool or The Proposal. As Reynolds continues to make his way through the entertainment business, he's getting the word out that he's more than just an actor. He's a businessman, philanthropist, and cultural figure whose reach is broadening beyond the Tinseltown. That Harvard appearance solidified justifies the shift and underscores his instinct to build a legacy that doesn't end at the movies. Reynolds' most important contribution to the world outside of acting has been his role in his marketing company Maximum Effort, which has become known for its originality and its nerve. His other major corporate achievement has been his acquisition of the Aviation American gin brand and its subsequent sale to Diageo for a rumored $610 million. Of course, Reynolds' brand is about authenticity, something he talked about in the Harvard speech. If there's one thing he's built a reputation on, it's being relatable, approachable, and transparent, a far cry from the stuffy, polished images that often accompany Hollywood stars. His public persona, however, isn't all about business acumen. In addition, Reynolds has also been outspoken about his own philanthropy, speaking out most recently of his own work regarding mental health and his support of initiatives like his work for the Michael J. Fox Foundation and other charities and causes. His blend of business savvy, humor, and a real dedication to making a difference has won him admiration from everyone that works with him and from those who are simply entertained by him. But his Harvard speech did nothing to quiet Reynolds' growing public profile as a widely respected public figure with numerous talents. His legacy is starting to look like a legend not just for film, but for how he could inspire, innovate, and take risks while keeping that everyman persona.